I'm here today to speak with Dave McCrory, Chief Technology Officer of Basho, a very interesting NoSQL database company, and one of the speakers at Big Data London, a new event that's coming to Olympia on the 3rd and 4th of November this year. You've been here a few days now, and I'm sure this isn't your first visit to London, so tell me, what do you find when you meet with customers here? What do you think of the big data community in the UK?
I think the big data community in the UK is very vibrant. There are a lot of very smart people working on some incredible projects. We have quite a few customers that are just doing incredible things with very voluminous amounts of data. They're working on really cutting-edge things, machine learning, analytics, very high-performance computing. It's really an amazing community here, and it's why I come to London so frequently.
We've been talking about big data for a few years now. At the start of all this, the term was treated with some skepticism in some quarters, myself included. How do you think the market has matured, and has the term big data matured alongside the technology, the players and the market in general?
I think that's an interesting question, because we now think of big data and we use the term as something that is really, I would say, a very broad category. We've broken down what was once just a large accumulation of data into analytics, machine learning, large volumes of data flowing in from many different sources, data from very large data warehouses, classic relational databases have been shoved into the category. I think it's overloaded based on all of the things it encompasses. So when the average layperson hears big data, they just think of some giant thing in the sky instead of really what it is, which is very steeped in computer science and in big business needs.
Of course, we have spent years now wondering how big data got so big, and suddenly we realise we're on the cusp of big data becoming enormous. I'm talking, of course, about the Internet of Things, about all these connected machines and devices and sensors and meters that are all about to come online. I'm curious to know what your recipe is at Basho and how you're going to be coping with that, and more particularly how you're going to be helping your customers cope with that.
Well, something that we've noticed is that our customers have been working to try and solve this problem for quite a few years, and what we saw was a multiplier effect in the amount of data coming in from IoT-style projects, really time series data. In fact, all IoT data is driven by time series. It's sensors or other things that are reporting data in at a period of time. It might be every second, it might be every minute, it might be every hour, or even milliseconds. But this data is flowing in, and you need a solution that's going to be capable of storing all of this data. What we're finding is that sensors are going down in cost, so the amount of data going up is increasing because of that decrease in cost. So we have all of these sensors that are really what I refer to as data generators that are generating this mass amount of time series data, and you need a place to keep it. And so we began to develop ReactTS, which is time series. And our customers have been using this for all sorts of things to solve their IoT problems, whether it be trying to measure smart meters or sensors, or dealing with Formula E electric car racing and all of the sensor data that's flowing off of those. All of these things are time series based, and they're really leading at the forefront of what we're going to find is a massive amount of data coming in over the next 5 to 10 years in IoT.
So you're arguing there, Dave, for a different kind of database. I'm curious to know why you think a NoSQL database is the answer there, and what helps Basho stand out in an already crowded field of NoSQL database companies.
Well, with NoSQL, classically the idea was that it is scale out instead of scale up. Traditional relational databases relied specifically on scaling hardware up. If you ran into limits, you just simply used bigger hardware. NoSQL came along and said, instead, we'll use inexpensive hardware and we will distribute the database. This works well, but it gets complicated when you're dealing with trying to query and really deal with all of the problems that come along with time series. So we took our existing NoSQL solution and we made it a purpose-built solution for time series. This took us quite a long time, but the benefits of having a purpose-built solution vastly outweigh a general purpose solution when you're trying to solve a complex problem such as time series data for IoT.
What are your kind of 2 or 3 predictions for the year ahead in big data? What are going to be the main issues and challenges that information practitioners are going to be dealing with?
I think the biggest thing is going to be figuring out how to work with the data. I think as we find ways to collect the data, it's still very difficult to work with the data. The tools are maturing rapidly. You have projects like Spark and such, which provide you with ways of manipulating and doing analytics and machine learning, but we're still very early on with these things. The infrastructures are going to mature. That's happening at a very rapid pace. However, as we see, it's not happening fast enough, at least to solve all of the problems. And I think the demands that we will see placed on these infrastructures is going to grow at an astronomical pace, especially over the next year.
Thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today, Dave. We really appreciate it, and we're really looking forward to having you speak at the event. And for those of you watching, just a quick reminder, you can find out more about Big Data London at Olympia, 3rd and 4th of November, by visiting our website, where you can also register for the event.